Chapter 6 Love Letter. The one walking in front was the #1 beauty teacher, Suzu. Under the white skin-tight dress, her curvaceous body was still eye-catching, and it turns out to be her class. No wonder there were so many people in the class, but there was no reason for her to be so popular. Very quickly, Kinhao understood the biggest reason. His gaze was instantly attracted by the beautiful figure behind Suzu. She was wearing a blue dress and her slender legs were protruding from the bottom of the dress. She looked extremely alluring and snow-white. Her tall and slender figure, with a protruding front and back, fully displayed the perfect S-shape of a woman to the world. The delicate little face, tender as an apple stained with morning dew, was so clear and bright. A small, delicate nose, big and watery eyes, all of these showed the beauty of a woman to the world. Especially the aura of youth, it was even more suffocating. However, a natural pride was revealed in her bones. This was the school's famous beauty, Lin Miqiao. Normal schools always had many girls, and there was no lack of beauties. A school beauty like this was the beauty amongst beauties. Kinhao took a deep breath. It was not like he had never seen a school beauty before, but that was just from seeing one in the distance. Where would he be able to see in such a short distance today? Furthermore, he had extraordinary eyesight now, no longer an ordinary person. Even though he was seated at the back end of the classroom, he could clearly see what was happening. With his eyes focused, he could even see the snowy white ravine that was pushed out from Lin Miqiao's chest. Now he finally understood why the lesson was so popular today. Countless horny students were in a frenzy. At this time, Suzu walked onto the stage and introduced, "Students, today we are honored to invite our school's best student Lin Miqiao. She took the 3rd place in the National English Speaking Competition last semester, and created the history of our school. Now let her to introduce us the experience of learning English. Everyone must listen carefully. You will definitely benefit from it. Welcome." Pa pa pa. The warm applause rang out for a long time. The boys puffed up their cheeks and clapped their hands. Some of them found it difficult to express their desire with claps, so they slammed their hands on the table. All right. Quiet. Everyone, quiet. Suzu spent a lot of effort before she managed to calm the crowd. She was satisfied with the result, but just as she was about to let Lin Miqiao deliver her speech, her eyes spotted Liu Wenbin. Liu Wenbin was her proud disciple, so how could he sit at the back of the classroom when he was learning from other people? She had even planned to give him and Lin Miqiao a chance to chat alone after class, and also let Liu Wenbin go to the national selection to get a prize in the future. That way, she would have some face as a teacher. "Liu Wenbin, why are you sitting at the back?" Suzu asked Liu Wenbin loudly. Liu Wenbin was startled. He anxiously stood up. "Teacher, there are no seats ahead." Suzu swept a glance in front and saw Tang Wei seated in front. This kind of student would frequently fight and get injured, which was normal. What she cared about was that such a lousy student, who could not even recite all 26 English letters properly yet had the front seat. Wasn't this a waste of resources? "Tang Wei, you switch seats with Liu Wenbin." Suzu looked at Tang Wei with a gloomy face. Liu Wenbin was shocked. He dared not to change seats with Tang Wei, and anxiously said, "Teacher, I am fine sitting here, there is no need to change seats." This spot was the best place to admire the school beauty. After hearing Liu Wenbin's words, Tang Wei immediately said, "Teacher, look, even he isn't willing to switch. I think it's fine." "No, change it now," Suzu said in an almost commanding tone. "Liu Wenbin, come out." Liu Wenbin did not dare to challenge Tang Wei, so he naturally did not dare to come out. However, he stood out. He was pushed out by Kinhao, who was at the side. "If you're a man, then stand out. Don't embarrass yourself in front of the school beauty." Kinhao's words made Liu Wenbin, who wanted to return to his seat, stop in his tracks. In that moment, as if he had turned into a holy warrior, he took his school bag and walked over to Tang Wei's side. Tang Wei opened his mouth, staring at Liu Wenbin in disbelief, with fire in his heart. Could it be that the world had changed? Why did even this soft egg dare to bully him? Tang Wei, why are you still standing there blankly? Don't waste everyone's time just because of you. Suzu was known for her coldness. At this point, she turned cold, as if her face was about to freeze. Tang Wei saw that all of the surrounding students were staring at him, and even the school beauty, Lin Miqiao, was looking at him. He did not care about the gazes of others, but he had to care about Lin Miqiao. After saying that, he carried his school bag and stood up. Before leaving, he gave Liu Wenbin a vicious look, which meant, "You'll suffer later." Although Liu Wenbin was afraid, it was not the time for him to retreat. He could only sit down. Tang Wei angrily went over to the seat that Liu Wenbin was sitting on just now and glared at Ken Hao. He realized that Ken Hao was staring at him with an evil grin on his face, which made him a little scared. HMPH. Tang Wei coldly snorted to hide his fear, threw his school bag on the table with a paw sound, kicked away the chair, and sat down domineeringly. Just as he sat down, Ken Hao stretched out his leg, and with the tip of his foot, the chair was pulled to the side. With a hoo-la sound, Tang Wei directly sat on the ground. Unfortunately, his injured hand touched the ground, and he immediately cried out in pain. "What are you doing?" Suzu's face was as cold as ice as he angrily rushed forward. "Teacher, he accidentally sat on the floor," Ken Hao explained while grinning. Tang Wei stood up and pointed at Ken Hao as he roared angrily, "Teacher, it's him. He intentionally moved the chair away so that I fall down." "Ha ha, teacher, do you believe that? In this class, who would dare to provoke him? In any case, I don't dare to." Ken Hao continued to laugh. Which meant that everyone was afraid of Tang Wei, even himself. However, looking at the smiling expression on his face, there was not the slightest bit of fear in it. Suzu suspiciously looked at the two of them. She knew about Tang Wei's reputation, and there were really a few people who were not afraid of him, so she believed in Ken Hao's words a little. She even thought that Tang Wei was trying to find trouble with some other person because he had done this before. After thinking it through, Suzu's pointer knocked on the table in dissatisfaction. "Tang Wei, please sit down quickly." It wasn't easy for the teacher to get Lin Miqiao to pass on her experience to everyone. If you don't want to hear about it, others want to. If you really don't want to hear it, you can go out. When Tang Wei heard this, he also realized that Lin Miqiao was also staring at him. In order to not ruin his perfect image in front of the school beauty, Tang Wei decided to endure it and pulled a chair over to sit again. The classroom finally quietened down. Lin Miqiao once again walked to the podium amidst the warm applause from everyone. Every movement, every sound she made affected the hearts of countless male animals. Lin Miqiao spoke very vividly and was very dedicated, but Ken Hao was not interested in English. Hearing her words, he became bored, so he casually picked up a white piece of paper, picked up a pen and started writing on it. During this time, Tang Wei, who was at the side, glanced at what Ken Hao had written, and when he saw what was written, his face revealed a sneer of disdain. The heck, writing a love letter like that was really shameless. His love letter had been written long ago, and he spent money to hire a literary expert to write it. He wrote over 10,000 words with rich literary talent and deep emotions. He prepared to hand it over to the school beauty after class. Ken Hao was so engrossed with the writing that he did not notice Tang Wei's cold smile, and even more so did not notice that Suzu was standing behind him like a ghost. "Yes, I've finally finished writing it. It's not bad." After Ken Hao finished writing, he took it up and admired it for a moment, expressing his satisfaction. Just as he was about to put it away and hand it over to Lin Miqiao, a fair and delicate hand reached out and pinched the top of the letter. Then, the love letter flew into someone else's hand. Ken Hao hurriedly turned his head, and realized that Suzu was standing behind him. She was looking at the love letter he wrote, and a cold and scornful smile appeared on her face. Kin Hao did not pay attention to that cold smile. He discovered that Suzu was already holding a large stack of love letters in her hands. It seemed that many people were doing the same thing as him. They were quite competitive. After Suzu finished reading the love letter that Kin Hao had written, she looked at him coldly with eyes full of ridicule, but she did not say anything, and walked to the next person who was writing a love letter. On the stage, Lin Miqiao's passionate speech lasted for half an hour before it ended. Good students like Liu Wenbin had not finished listening to her, feeling intoxicated, while Kin Hao was feeling drowsy listening to her. After Lin Miqiao finished speaking, Suzu walked up to the podium and carried out a summary. She said some nonsense of thanks to Lin Miqiao, and then she raised the large stack of love letters in her hands with a solemn face. There are some male students who don't know how to study well and be diligent in advancing. All they think about is love and courting women. Of course, considering your age, I don't mind the love affairs, but have you ever thought about how you're going to make a living and achieve something when you don't study well to improve your own qualities? Saying this, Suzu became excited. There was a hint of anger in her. What qualifications do you people with no achievements have to pursue beauties? Do you have the ability to give them happiness? There was complete silence in the classroom. No one answered her question. Take our fellow student Lin Miqiao for example. She is such a beautiful and outstanding girl. How many of you are qualified to pursue her? When Suzu finished asking this question, her ice-cold gaze swept across all of the male students present. In the end, her gaze fixated on Kin Hao, but there are some people who simply do not know their own limitations and still have the nerve to write love letters. There were even some who were shameless. Actually still, I don't know how to describe such a person, so I'll read the love letter written by this classmate to you. After you hear it, you'll understand. With that, she picked up the love letter written by Kin Hao and started to read it. Student Lin Miqiao. Here Kiao has been written into Chao. HMPH, you even wrote the wrong name, yet you have the nerve to write a love letter. Suzu looked down on him and continued to read. Lin Miqiao, seeing how beautiful you are, I admit that you have the qualifications to chase after me. After careful consideration, I've decided to give you a chance to chase after me. If you have the perseverance, you might be able to move me and make me accept your pursuit. It's over. Finally, he added another sentence. Please cherish this opportunity. This time it's really over,